Good morning, everybody. What a lovely morning it is, too. A little overcast, not too bad. A little hazy and everything. You see, we've got a nice waning moon in the background, slowly settling back there. Wanted to welcome y'all back to Flight Sim 10 and welcome back to Gnarlo's latest pride and joy, his latest acquisition for the sim. Let's see if we can walk up a little bit closer to it here. You saw me flying around the last time we were in 10. You saw me flying around in a Piper Cub, the stock Piper Cub that came with the actual game, straight out of the box. This one right here, I was so impressed with it, with the way the Piper flew and loved the way it handled and everything, that I went out and I bought an actual payware Piper Cub here. This is from A2A Simulations, and it is their Piper J3 Piper Cub, and it is a gorgeous craft. I mean, just, you know, detail and modeling. I mean, you can just look at it here. I'll zoom on in. They've got, you know, individual little cotter pins. Look at the way those things are modeled there. Beautiful little cotter pins holding the cowl around the engine there, which is, of course, I think it's a 65 horsepower air-cooled engine, you know, with half the engine hanging out, the cylinder heads here hanging out in the breeze. You don't have to worry about any kind of water cooling or anything like that. Look at the welds. Look at the welds there where the exhaust pipes come off the manifold. Isn't that just awesome? I mean, the attention to detail here is just incredible. And the stuff that I've looked at on their website, the reviews I've read, they've got a wide variety of aircraft that A2A Simulations has made, and it seems like they're like, for the general aircraft, anything other than your big old jumbo jets like the 777s and all, it's like they are the premier modelers here. Got a nice big wooden prop on it, nice metal edges to help protect them there from any kind of I guess airstrikes, bugs and dirt and grime that gets, dirt and dust and gravel that gets kicked up into the blade while it's close by. That'll protect your leading edges of your prop there. Isn't it just gorgeous? Beautiful modeling. You see that stick that's sticking up out of the front of the engine there? That is your fuel gauge. You see, you've got this, it's sitting in a cork. There's that stick on top of the hood there that goes down into the fuel. That's the fuel cap, the red cap right there. And that stick sits in a cork that floats in the aviation fuel and measures how much gas you have, nice and visually, because you can see it right ahead of you at all times and see that red top, see how low it's sliding down into the tank there. In this case, we've got a full tank, so we are not going to have to worry about fueling up or anything. Let's just do a little walk around here. And as you see, this particular craft, it is sitting down here and is tied down at the moment. We've got these concrete weights here. This is ramp 10. We've got these concrete weights that hold it down. The Piper is a very lightweight craft. In fact, later on, whenever I take it out and fly, you'll see that the way you turn it around and all that and do like pushbacks is that you actually pick up the tail of the craft and swing it around to wherever you want to go. That's how lightweight and maneuverable this is. So with that, you have to worry about keeping it tied down here. And we've got these concrete weights that are keeping it in place and keeping the winds from blowing it around. As you see, they've got the tires actually chocked with old tires. Waste not, want not. That's something that Gnarlo, if y'all have watched him with his obsession with making sure that he vacuums up all the dirt and gravel that the bros that he plays with always leave floating behind to disappear and eventually decay. Well, Gnarlo's one of those waste not, want not, so he uses his tires as chucks to keep the thing from rolling around. You'll notice down here between the wheels on the landing gear, you've got these black things. These are very rudimentary shock absorbers. Up underneath those cloth covers right there, or rubber covers, there's a couple of hooks, and there are bungee cords stretched in between the pieces of the struts, the landing struts, up underneath those covers. So you've got the rubber bungee cords, basically big rubber bands that act as your shock absorbers there on your landing gear. We'll circle on around here. Said the attention to detail, the attention to modeling is just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, let's look at the wires up here on top of the control surfaces. You can see the cables there that come in and move the ailerons around. Beautiful. Look at the detail there in the actual cable itself. The cable, you know, could easily, the upper part of the cable there could easily have just been a smooth model, or the control cable up underneath the wing there, you know, see it there. Could easily have been a smooth model, but no, they actually detailed put a texture on there to show the wrapped cable, the twisted cable there. It's absolutely beautiful. Swing on back around. You see on the tail it's got the Piper Cub insignia, the little bear holding the Cub sign. And come on around it. There you go. And the drag tail, it's a tail dragger. Doesn't have the trike gear that modern day aircrafts do. This one has the actual trike gear there, so it's got a tail wheel that you have to make sure, be careful when you're landing it to ensure that it doesn't just flip over and do a nose plant and do some serious damage to your engine and prop there. Alright, we're going to walk on up to the side of it here, and I'll get my key out and we will see if we can open the door here on the side. There we are. Very good. Let's walk on up, take a look in before we actually climb in. A beautiful, beautiful cockpit, of course. Very minimalistic. Piper's a great airplane. This comes with, I think, 147 page PDF manual here about the Piper Cub, and a good half of it is just background and history about the Piper and how it was made and how it got its start in the late 20s, early 30s, and just the history of it, of the airplane, and a little bit about the Piper company itself, and the various variants of it. It's fascinating reading, great stuff. I highly recommend this craft. I said, if you're any kind of flight simmer, any kind of aircraft, or just aviation aficionado interested in it, it's truly some beautiful, fun reading. So we are going to hop into the cockpit here, and actually, let me pull up this right quick. Before we do that, before we get into the cockpit, let's take the tie downs off. There we go, and we'll climb into the cockpit and we'll show you how it looks from in there. Alright, welcome to the inside of the cockpit here. We'll just have a quick look around. I hear somebody cranking up their engine nearby. Wonder which one it is. Don't see anybody close by, but perhaps they'll show up. Perhaps they'll slide by us here on their way out to the right out to the runway. The runway's right straight ahead and off to the right over there, as you see past that red and checkerboard building. Towers off to our left. You can see the traffic on Airport Road off there, and of course the taxiway is behind us. You see the yellow line going out from the plane off to our left there, falling over behind. Alright, let's take just a look around the cockpit. You see this is the standard cockpit view here. It is, as I said, it's a tail dragger, so the nose sits nice and high, and sometimes you can have a little trouble seeing around it there. But we'll take a look at the various areas. Look outside. Yep, there it is. You can see it behind it. There goes a plane headed out to head out into the wild blue yonder over there. I'm running the add-on. It's got Ultimate Traffic 2 is currently running here on the sim as well. That's why we get a good deal of traffic that's constantly coming in and out of the airport. It's an old file. You can actually buy updated files which use the new updated liveries and flight schedules and everything. I think 2013 was the last year that they are out so far, but they're like $10 a piece for the scheduling and stuff like that, and I currently don't need quite that level of realism. I'm quite happy with the old 2008, 2009 data that came with the Ultimate Traffic program. You know, I'm not flying for any virtual airlines. I'm doing this purely for my own personal enjoyment. So having old data is perfectly okay with me. I wouldn't really know the difference. Let's take a look around the cockpit here right quick. As you see, you got various views. We can look out the left window over here. Swivel back around. I'm also using Easy Dock, which is another add-on program for the various views here. It allows you to set up cameras and basically swivel in wherever you got things set up. So you see there's our Carb Heat switch or lever. It's a sliding lever in and out. You can see the rudder pedals and the brake pedal down there on the floor. Then we come up to a close-up of the control panel. Very simple indeed. Just to the left you've got your RPMs. You got your oil and temperature pressure. All of these switches and gauges work, by the way, and are very accurate, so you do have to keep an eye on your temp and your pressure there. Not something we have to worry about temp too much here in Georgia, because with the heat and all, the engines warm up pretty quick. Straight ahead of you is the compass. That is what they call a whiskey compass. It's sure you've seen them. You can buy those kind of things to put on the dashboard of your car. It's the little thing. It's got the floating ball inside of it with the markings, and it floats inside. In this case, kerosene is what they traditionally had in them, and it floats around in there and acts as a compass. And you can also kind of tell. You can also use it for a turn coordinator, depending on how it's swiveled back and forth there. Along with the compass, you have to remember that compasses point to magnetic north, not true north, so you've actually got an accurate listing there of the deflections that you have to use, depending on what longitude you are, as to where actual north is. Then off to the right, you've got your altimeter with a little knob down below it. We can swivel the knob, grab a hold of it here with the mouse, and that's how you set how you coordinate your adjustments. You know, every airport that you land, you have to adjust your altimeter to get it correct settings. And here at this airport, we are about 800 or so feet above sea level, so you just swivel it until you actually get it to that location. There you go. That should have it pretty accurate there. And then off to the right is airspeed in miles per hour. And in addition, you have your priming, your engine priming knob. Okay. Next up on the list, we've been to the carb heat already. That's the view of the entire control panel there, from basically the passenger seat in front. Then you can look over the hood, get you a peek over the engine. There you see the gas meter rod hanging there, right there in your line of sight. Over here to the left is the big iron switch, or your magnetos, to switch left, right, and both. That is basically all the electronics this plane has right there. It's just the wires going from that switch to the engine to control your magnetos. And then you have a view out the right side of the aircraft as well. And then your left-hand view. All right, back to the front. There you go. That is a very quick look over the complexities of the craft here. I know it's a lot to take in. It's kind of like flying a 777. Oh, you've got your map there that you can click on and pull up your navigation aids and your radio as well. And I believe F7, Shift 7. Is that the one? No, that's your maintenance hangar. There we go. You can pull up your radio there. And I think there's your navigation map as well. And F7, Shift 7, brings up the maintenance. As you see, I've been flying this plane since I got it for about almost 2.5 hours since it was brand new. And it is in excellent condition. I've taken great care of it. The A2A simulations here uses what they call AccuSim. It's their trademark for what they do. They actually model every part of the plane. They model the engine. It actually sits there. The simulation runs in the background. It is simulating the fuel flow. I didn't show you here on the left, but over on the left you've got your throttle, of course, and then throttle in the front, throttle in the back. And you've got your fuel switch, which is on or off. Down there to the bottom left, you have your attitude. That's your trim, where you can pitch the nose up and down. And all of those levers and dials and everything here in the craft all work correctly, and all of them can be manipulated by hand as well as the keyboard. You can reach out with the mouse and grab them and push them and turn them just like you would in the regular aircraft. But there you go. What was I discussing? I showed you those. Oh, the other thing I'll show you here is the control tie down. As you see there, to lock out the controls with like a Cessna or something like that, you've got actual control lockout on the that you have to take off of the control board and the yoke up front. Right here, you just take the seat belt and you wrap it around your rudder stick. So we are going to pull that up and we will unlock the controls. There we go. As you see, the seat belt comes off of it, and now you are able to fully move your stick in any direction you want. Plus you can hold down those brakes, and you can also use the rudders. And there you go. Alright, let's get rid of this little panel here. There you go. There is a quick look at the inside and the outside of the Piper Cub here. And next time we will go out and we will run through the pre-flight checklist, and we'll take her up for a spin. And you'll find out why cigars are not just for presidents. So we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.